About 11 o'clock today, we had Geiger Corrections staff discover 4 inmates who had been consuming alcohol. Those 4 inmates apparently are on work release programs and were able to smuggle in some hand sanitizer, which they mixed with Kool-Aid and then consumed and became intoxicated. The inmates out here at Geiger Corrections are considered low-risk inmates when they're sober, but when they are affected by drugs or alcohol, they become something other than low risk, and so they had to be segregated from the rest of the population. Geiger this morning had 11 staff members here, so they were able to separate those 4 from the rest of the population. However, they had to do it forcibly. In fact, 2 of those inmates became so violent that they had to be restrained in restraint chairs. And once they were segregated from the population, then it became a matter of searching the building to make sure there was no other contraband in there. And we're talking about 100 or so inmates in that one building. So, as a precaution, the TAC team, the sheriff's TAC team, was put on standby just in case there were problems moving those inmates out of the building. And in fact, the staff was able to get them out. They put them out here on the yard and began conducting their search. However, at some point those inmates became restless, were not happy about being out of their normal environment, and so it was decided that they would move them to the fenced tennis courts. They moved those inmates to the tennis courts and continued conducting their search, and then the weather went south on us. The wind came up, it started drizzling. In consideration of their health and welfare, the inmates that were outside in the tennis courts were moved into the gym. And but because they'd kind of become cranky, shall we say, it was decided that we probably should have the TAC team out here on site. So the sheriff's TAC team was brought out. It's 13 or 14 members. We also assembled the jail's correction response team from the Spokane County Jail. That's another 12 or 14 people. They were brought out here as well. And they're in the process now of assisting Geiger Corrections staff in that search of that building. And we're talking, the search is expanded from the 2nd floor where these inmates were housed. They're also going to search the 3rd floor. And they're also going to search the other building, the 2 floors on the other building. And they have to go back and search the gym and the area of the yard where these people were held to make sure they didn't secrete contraband while they were being held outside their rooms. So it's become kind of a long, involved process, but with the number of deputies and corrections staff we have out here from the jail, we're confident that we can do this safely. In fact, they're in the process. You've filmed them moving inmates around 10 or 12 at a time, and they're all restrained as they're moved around the facility. And so we think we can get this accomplished without any other problems.
What all are you looking for, contraband-wise?
Well, initially they went in looking for this hand sanitizer, any form of alcohol. But having worked in the jail, I can tell you that given the opportunity to conduct a search like this, they're probably looking for anything and everything, and that's just routine business in a corrections facility. When you go in and conduct a search, you look for anything that they're not allowed to have.
Okay, so this all started from four inmates, and then
right. It started out with 4 inmates consuming Purell-laced Kool-Aid, becoming intoxicated, and now basically we have the entire facility locked down and a search underway that's causing us to move 400 inmates around the facility. It's become quite the operation.
When the TAC team in, you said they didn't take guns, right?
Right. Typically we don't carry firearms into a secure facility like this. There's always risk of somebody overwhelming one of us and taking that firearm and then using it against us. And so when we go into a corrections facility where we're 99% sure that we're not going to encounter lethal force, then we don't take those firearms in. Our TAC team and our CERT team members have access to tasers. They have pepper spray. They have nightsticks, batons, and an immense amount of training. And it's those less lethal tools and their training that's going to allow us to conduct this safely without anybody being injured.
I guess these guys are going from the work release program, bringing in hand sanitizer. I mean, is that something you're going to watch closely now, or is that something?
Well, I'm here to tell you those 4 inmates are so out of here. They're You know, an infraction like that will cause you to lose the privilege of staying at Geiger and your return to the Spokane County Jail, assuming that they're Spokane County Jail inmates. Is that something they're going to look for? That's something they always look for. Any form of alcohol coming in, they look for. And you know, I'm sure there's going to be some review to see how they were able to smuggle it in. But you know, that's one of those things. Every time somebody's returned to the facility, they look for weapons, they look for alcohol, they look for drugs.